Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
All right.
Okay, now we're safely within our show donut, where if you need to burp, go right ahead. The first thing she says right before I hit record is, oh, I got to burp again. So this is going to be an absolute shit show of an episode. So maybe since Rhianna's here, can she readjust your energy to make you less burpy?
If she would allow me to.
I will. I would. Can you do that? Yeah. Do you think that would work?
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely get out of the room for that one.
Well, I mean, I'm just like,
does
you can
that
fix
work?
this.
Yes, that's literally what I do.
I last week I ate something that didn't like me. I don't know what it was, and I did kind of go off my diet just a little bit, but it was like one thing, and that was it. Totally messed me up on Friday, and I was like, I threw up. I haven't done that forever.
Oh gosh.
Because when I woke up and I'm like, oh God, this is not good. There wasn't a lot. It wasn't like I ate a lot of anything. And then it was the dry heaves later in the day because I'm like hungry. So I'm thinking of food, which made me repulsed, which would make me sick again. And so I tried to eat something Sunday night. And then I was sick yesterday. And so I'm like, I am so hungry, but everything sounds awful. And Sasha says, well, why don't you try like Gatorade Zero?
Right, which is awesome.
Right. And so I got the kiwi banana, I think it is.
Delish.
And slammed it down and felt good immediately. And then it started arguing with my insides. And so now I'm burping like crazy. And I can't stop. And I woke up this morning going, oh,
the
God,
burping
here
is
we go again.
interesting.
It's weird. And it's like, it's burping like, you ever watch The Simpsons? Remember his buddy at the bar when he would burp and his lips would quiver? It's that kind of burp.
That's awesome.
It is. It vibrates.
Gosh.
When you talk about my vibrations, that's my vibration right now. I'm vibrating at burp.
Can you help her burp her burpy energy?
I mean, if she'll let me put my hands on her, I can help
Just we'll wait till we're done, and then I'll leave you two alone. You can lay up here on the table and do whatever you do.
It's the right height, I can tell you.
Totally, right? So I'm sure this is nothing what you wanted to talk about today. Or even
is, though, because there's so much going right now. Like I was just talking to Sophie, and it's
Sasha,
sorry.
I'm like, my daughter's here? Like, what?
No, Sasha. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and she's just like, what is going on? And there's like 3 planets in retrograde, including Mercury.
Are all planets at one point in retrograde?
They do all go in retrograde, but at different times.
So when they all go together.
It's pretty dramatic when like 2 or 3 or 4. I think last year we had like 7 at one time.
Shocker.
And it was insane.
After last year, right?
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, it's totally on par for 2020. But and then this week there is a full moon and there's an eclipse. An eclipse is always extra intense energy, and it really shakes people awake.
And eclipses aren't always seen on all parts of the planet. So are the people just in the area that can see the eclipse affected, or is everybody on the planet
Everybody's affected? I believe the people that are in alignment with it are more impacted, but everybody is impacted. And then if it's in your sign, so I think this moon, I don't know. Like let's say it's Gemini and you have Gemini in your chart as like rising or sun or moon, it will impact you even more so. And I didn't look what the moon was. It's just an actual blood moon eclipse. So it's very intense energy, and it's kicking off an eclipse season. So what's happening right now is that the full moon always asks you to take a look at what is not resonating in your life, habits, choices, people, jobs, situations, and to release that which is no longer serving your highest good. But with all of these planets and the full moon eclipse, it's like on steroids. And so people, and a lot of it is even on this subconscious level, because again, we've talked about this. If you aren't slowing down and you're not taking a look at what's actually going on, or spend a moment saying, why do I actually feel like this? What's going on? What is this trying to show me? Right. It'll all be like subconscious level, and you'll just feel antsy or off, but you won't understand what's happening. So this week, it's really imperative that people do kind of just look at what's coming up, what's not working. I always ask, give me the awareness of what I need to be looking at so that I don't have to just dig as much, and things will pop up into my awareness.
That's kind of like asking to redirect you away from, instead of paying attention to what isn't working, show me what is working. Show me what will work.
Yeah. And focus on that more. But it really is, I mean, right now with the full moon energy, it really is asking you to look at your life, your behaviors, all the things you're doing, and what isn't working, and release it. So even if you want to, so like something I do is I write a list of all the things that are no longer working, all the old stories, right? Like even this week, it's been, my ADHD symptoms have been through the roof. Like I can hardly function. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to release that in the full moon. I'm going to release a story that I have ADHD. So I'll write all these things down, and then I burn it. And it just releases that energy into the universe and really shows the universe, like, I'm done with this, right? And then you just have to make different choices. So
isn't it interesting how that's such a final step, even though it really is just a representation of what you're doing? You know what I mean? It's like writing it down, and you know, like when you see relationships and they burn all the pictures of something, or they burn the clothes.
Well, fire is very cleansing,
right?
So, yeah.
And it's like, it's so final, but it's not, but it is, because it's like you really are committing to it.
Yeah,
and you see it in so many different situations. It's not just because of a full moon. It's not just because of this. It's been used maybe subconsciously.
Yeah.
That's why people did it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do that. You can do that anytime. You don't have to wait for a full moon. Absolutely. You can just tell the universe you're done with this and release it either through breath or just.
Interesting. Is that why I liked to burn the trash when I was a kid?
Maybe.
I loved going out to burn the trash.
Well, it's just I like fire. I like to melt stuff.
My brother did that.
I loved it.
He would play with everything. He almost started the house on fire with like a mattress and a hairdryer when he was like 7.
Oh my God.
Boys like fire usually. Some take it a little too far, like with arson, like when they get older. But when you're a little boy, you're supposed to do things to anthills, and you're supposed to light fires, and it's just part of the process.
It was just part of it.
I had another grill fire yesterday, by the way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Second one
does
of
that
this-
have something to do with your grease cleanup?
Yes.
As in you're not doing it.
As in I'm not doing it. Well, I Googled it because Beth's like, I've had grills my whole life, and I've never had a grease fire. We've had 2 in the last year. So I'm like, oh, Google it. And sure, every 6 months you're supposed to clean it.
Or every day, every time you use it.
Well, and I do the brushy
and
scrubby
then dump
thing.
out the
Where are you supposed to, is there like a catch underneath or something?
There's a catch, and that's not what caught on fire. It was all the fat on the grill,
On
like the grate, and I didn't even, because I turned my grill on, put it on like medium, low medium, shut the door, go back inside, start getting my burgers ready, and I walk out, and my thermostat is peaking at 750. I'm like, oh, this is not good. Open it up.
Oh no!
So I had to use baking soda, and we had to break out the. It was a bad day. Sorry.
No,
I'm
fine.
releasing this to the full moon. So her dad, Beth's dad, Paul, showed up yesterday. So we're like, hey, let's grill. Not a good plan. Had a fire. So then we're like, well, it's next best thing. We'll use the George Foreman grill. So because we already had the burgers seasoned and out, and so I went down and got the George Foreman grill. It's totally thanks, Rhianna.
I'm sorry.
I know.
The George
it's not like I didn't hear that 40 times. So, but I went down to find the George Foreman grill. That's like, oh, it's in the basement. She's such an organized person. So I go down, and sure enough, it's right in the basement where it's supposed to be. Lift it out. The cord's wrapped around a Christmas cake dish. Smash.
Oh no.
Broke. And I'm like, I'm going to hide this from her till her dad leaves. I'm just going to hide it, but I'm like, no, I can't. I'll end up spilling
because
it.
best time to tell her is while Dad's still there.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
She won't pop off. Probably, right?
Oh, no. I can't guarantee that. But she didn't get mad. But I walked up, and the first thing I said is, please tell me it wasn't your grandma's. Please tell me. She goes, what are you talking about? It wasn't her grandma's. It was just a Hobby Lobby discount deal. Thank God. Thank God.
Okay, so what forward negative momentum do you have going that we need to cancel clearing?
I think it's over now. I feel great today.
Good.
I feel awesome.
Crazy.
So I did.
You felt great yesterday morning too, right?
I did. It was about a 90-minute window yesterday afternoon where I felt like absolute.
Well, that's good that it all clears.
Yeah,
so,
it's good.
Yeah, there's
I'm
just
clear.
a lot going on right now, and people need to really just slow down and pay attention to the themes that keep coming up, right? So even like me, focusing on certain things, I have to look at like, okay, how is this serving me, and how can I release this, right? So that's what's happening right now.
I just got done doing another remodeling in my house, and so I got one more project left. I got basically the last project done though. The next one's small. So this was a big one. It was all the bedrooms, the popcorn ceiling, right? Paint, new carpet. Awesome. 6 weeks though. I've been living on the couch.
Oh, wow, that's a long time to be sleeping on the couch.
And I have the half bath downstairs, and I could climb over to get to my shower. Oh, right. So it was everything was disrupted. So it's done now, and so it's like everything's just settling.
Do you think that energy could have something to do with your stomach
and
issues?
I'm thinking there was a lot because and yesterday I was
because your house is like filled with energy anyway from the needing to
I think my
smudge
house
it
feels better right now. I do think it does.
Well, and it's root chakra related, so it is feeling safe, feeling like you belong. All your basic human needs are being met. So if your home is in disarray or unsafe in some way, that could totally screw up your root chakra, which would in turn hurt your stomach.
And I think this weekend was kind of like I was at my peak. Thank God he was done or close.
Yeah,
So,
you'll have to sage it now that it's all.
That's a good idea.
Once you put it all back in place.
That's a
sage
great
it,
idea. I will
energy.
do that. Okay, I will do that. All right. So for this week, then, so we got that. We've got that to look forward to.
How long are these things retrograding? How long do you have to look forward to this?
Jupiter and Saturn until September, October. And you're going to have to research like how that will actually impact you. And Astro Butterfly is on Facebook. They do some amazing articles that will help you understand this. Mercury, I think, is retrograde until end of June, I believe. So things could be weird electronically. And there were solar flares the last couple of days hitting Earth too, which is making electronics weird, which is making people not feel good. It could be solar flare related too. A lot of people think they have the flu when solar flares are hitting Earth. So there's a lot going on energetically. And I guess my best advice is the same. It's like rest as much as you can, drink a lot of water, and get outside as much as you can. And just I also say I easily allow this energy to integrate, or I willingly and lovingly allow this energy to easily integrate, something like that. So you can talk to your body and just say, stop resisting it. I mean, it's coming in to upgrade us. It's here to serve us. Stop resisting it and just allow the process. But you really have to rest. And a lot of people don't realize that is, there's Earth and humanity is evolving and raising in frequency so quickly right now. In the history of this planet, we've never ascended in the physical body. And so we're doing something that we've never done before. And we have to rest more. Our DNA and our makeup is literally changing. And we are required to rest more. But in this culture, you're lazy or whatever. And so that again is the universe is asking you, like, is this job working for you? Is this way of being? Is the busy badge you're wearing with pride actually supporting your highest good? You're
right. And that's interesting. You bring that up about how things are escalating so quickly. Because in the last 200 years, not even 200 years, 150, how much things have changed in civilization.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to the previous 10,000.
Yeah. Well,
and
that's a frequency thing. It is a vibration thing.
And everything's just escalated so fast.
In the last 25 versus the previous 125.
That
like
too.
the last 25 is quadruple.
Internet.
Yeah.
So you go from trains or horses to trains to cars to planes in the early 1900s. Then by the end of the century, you got the internet. And everything's just escalating so fast, because prior to that, everything pretty much stayed the same for a very long time.
Well, and even you're seeing it with time is speeding up. People feel like time is like an hour is weird now to them. The time is weird. It feels weird.
Yes.
It feels faster. And that's
the date today,
because we're literally speeding up frequency wise, which makes everything else speed up. And I have a friend, I call her a front runner. So she was born in I think she was born in the late 50s. And she came and she's like, Rhianna, when we would want to manifest something, because she's been awake since forever, right? She basically came out remembering her goal. And she was here to change the frequency of Earth so that our magic, what we're truly capable of, can work instantaneously. Like, I know I'm supposed to be able to hold out my hand and create bread because somebody's hungry, right? That magic is supposed to work here. And that is why we're here, to change that frequency that our magic can work instantaneously.
We have that power to do that.
We do. We do. And it's because the Earth's frequency has been lowered for so long that we haven't been able to do that. But people are seeing that the frequency is changing. So when we manifest things, let's say like you think of something, like let's say you had worried that your grill was going to start on fire, and it was in the back of your head and you're like, I hope you don't have another grease fire. And then you walk outside and you create that, you manifest it immediately. It's because the energy is supporting manifestation much more quickly than ever before. And it's just another example of how we are shifting and how it looks crazy right now. And I know it's going to probably get even crazier before it gets better, but it is shifting, and the whole purpose of why millions of us are here right now is coming to fruition.
Have you ever read up on like Tesla? Because Tesla and Einstein they lived in the same time period, and they both were like the two sides of the same coin. And they, to me, they saw things that other people couldn't even comprehend.
Yeah.
Both
Tesla
of them
was
did.
way ahead of his
Tesla-
time, but he was here for the same reason, to shift
Exactly.
reality, to shift the potentials.
And I highly encourage people. I mean, if you get a chance to watch a documentary or read up on the stuff that he came up with, the free energy, number one, for the entire planet. He had a way, and just reading up on, and then when he died, all of his stuff disappeared, supposedly, right? And it's just like poof, all of his goods are gone, and nobody knows. And it was like, and they have them, but they say, oh, there's nothing in here. It's nothing, and then we're going to
fun
lock it
story
away
about Tesla.
But Tesla also, well, I know one story
Go
about
ahead.
Tesla, which is Trump's grandfather,
His uncle.
his uncle, not his grandfather, his uncle, had some of the papers. He was able to study the papers and to see the papers.
Well, so the government asked his uncle to say, hey, here's some paperwork from Tesla that involves a time machine.
You need to read up on Trump's uncle and that too, because
can you recreate this time machine? And he's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to complete that time machine. But I think that's total BS, because you have things
that's
like
a shocker.
You
two think something's BS?
you have the
weird.
Simpsons, and I think I've talked about this before, but there's like an 1872 book of Baron Trump.
Yes, there is.
And it's literally a picture of him, and it's in the Congressional Library.
It's a little boy traveling in a traveling time machine with his friend. It's not Fred, or was it?
I don't remember.
But it was the name of the uncle.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Was the man that traveled with this little Baron Trump in a time machine. But the book was put out in the 1800s.
And it was they talked about a time machine in this book.
And
his name was Baron Trump.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but everything is disclosure. Everything is disclosure. Every time somebody
Hold on. So this book was written in
late 1800s.
Late 1800s,
Yeah.
and there was a character named Baron Trump in the time machine with a dude named Fred.
And the picture is exactly the picture of Baron Trump. So long story short, time travel is real. And it's because Tesla had the technology. But then he also had the Tesla coil, which would have given us free electricity. But the Rockefellers didn't want anybody to have free electricity. And so they basically made Tesla out to be a conspiracy theorist and a loon, took all of his history and all of his work, and he died a very, very poor man where he could have literally saved humanity.
And he had shown them some of the stuff.
So allegedly the government still has these documents on how to create this time machine?
So the government is like 300
coil
years.
energy or whatever?
Yeah, yes. And they all have this energy. They're using it in... Sorry, I'm going to put my aluminum hat on. In like
I didn't think you ever took it off.
Secret space programs, there's underground cities. I mean, there's literally like I swear to God, if people could just expand their mind and realize that everything that they are doing, they have to disclose. So every movie that is quote unquote sci-fi or fictional, they are telling you what's happening and what's possible, and they have to disclose.
Why do they have to?
Because a lot of it is satanic energy, so it's loose energy, and it's they're doing things against humanity's free will. So the law of that energy is that they have to disclose it, so that if they disclose it and we watch this movie and we're like, yeah, that's a cool movie, we have agreed to what they're disclosing. We've accepted it. So then they can continue.
You buy a ticket to see whatever movie, that's your implied contract you accept.
Yes, it's implied. So if we don't rise. Yep. So they do all this as sci-fi and fictional and TV movies so that they can disclose it all. And then they make us seem like the crazy ones because they do not want you looking at the truth, right? It's like the whole don't look behind the curtain. Don't look at the man behind the curtain because they don't want you to know the truth.
A lot of people feel uncomfortable watching Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. I'm incredibly uncomfortable watching Wizard of Oz, partly because it was used to part of the MK Ultra that was used against me to help me forget my abuse.
So, yeah, there's a lot in there. When you mentioned that, The Mask of the Red Death is a movie that I just recently came across. It was an Edgar Allan Poe story. And the movie basically laid the groundwork for Eyes Wide Shut. Stanley Kubrick took a lot from that. And that movie, I was listening to a breakdown of it, just kind of going through what it was, because a lot of the stuff it goes over you because it's just entertainment, right? You're just watching it. You don't really
think it's entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, wait a minute. This means something completely different. Now I see what they're doing. Who's the famous guy? Vincent Price starred in it. That's who it was, Vincent Price.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
But it's, you might want to just because it's crazy when you start connecting the dots and seeing that. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, the book that we were talking about, the Baron Trump book, came out in 1893.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
That's nuts.
Anyway, the whole point of bringing this up is you don't have to go down all these rabbit holes, right? But there is so much more possible than what we are taught in our daily life, right?
We're told we use 10% of our brain.
Yeah. So what's happening with the 90%? We've also been told there's junk DNA. Do you really think the creator would have created junk anything? Absolutely not. They turned off 10 of the 12 strands of DNA to keep you dumb and stupid, to keep you not asking questions. And my whole job, and I know I bring this stuff up, but and I was not planning on talking about any of it.
You say that every single time.
I just can't help it. I swear to God. But it's because my role here is to get people to, I'm like a lighthouse, right? So the lighthouse has two roles: to shine a light on the darkness and to help you on your journey so that you see in the dark, right? And I'm a full believer of what is in the dark can play and foster. And if we shine a light in the dark, it's going to be healed, right? So I just know that humanity is capable of so much more. I'm not special. I'm not the only one that can look at their hands and say, loaf of bread. And
look at Elon Musk.
It's supposed to be created. Yeah.
He's our current day Tesla. But I mean, seriously, he does things and everybody's like, God, he's so weird. He's so crazy. But he's doing magic. Yeah. It's like, he's creating things.
That's crazy. Through intention and speaking his existence into existence to release all of the beliefs that we have been taught and indoctrinated with, so we cannot manifest. Because if we can manifest anything and everything, we don't need the church and we don't need the government anymore.
Well,
and
that's not good for business.
Want that? Yes, exactly.
That's not good
right,
for
it's terrible for business,
right?
Yeah.
Oh my
and
goodness.
so even like the Handmaid's Tale. I mean, if people watch that, I can't watch it, but I've watched enough to know that they are just telling you what is truly happening. And then they've made it a conspiracy theory because they don't want you to frickin' look at it and like
don't look too deep.
Start asking questions. You know what I mean? So yeah. So there's but that's all shifting and coming out. And that's what's happening. And a lot of people can feel this in their bones, that they know that Earth and our reality is shifting. And it's changing for the better, but it's going to require you to have a new concept of reality, right? And a lot of people
that's hard.
They're having a hard time with that.
It's hard when things just change on the surface. You know, you think about changing your concept of reality. When you lose a family member, that changes everything in your world. You know, it's like now you have to figure out different ways to see, or if you lose somebody who you relied heavily on, right? That now you have to find a whole new way to construct your life. That just in the day-to-day, that's hard. So to think that there's a bigger picture that needs to be redrawn.
And I see death so differently. Like I wasn't even sad when my grandma died. I was happy that she was free of this reality and this darkness and how heavy it was for her and the pain she was in, right? And I just see energy differently. It doesn't die, it just changes form, right? And you can still connect with these people and these beings, and a lot of you can feel them around you. And
absolutely.
So I know it sounds crazy, and I always talk about these things that people are probably rolling their eyes about, but it really is a good thing, because reality is shifting and changing. And those of us that came here to change the frequency of Earth, so our magic was instant. It's happening. It's working.
So what did you come here to talk about?
I don't remember now.
we just had a really good run right there.
But
right?
I do want to say our perception. So this is a message that kept coming through to me, and then I found a video, and it's a woman. Her name's Elizabeth April, and she reaches millions of people, and she said that perception equals vibration. So whatever you're perceiving, however you're seeing the world, is creating your vibration, and then you're going to bring more of that to you, right? So if you can perceive things in a different way, your reality will change too. So
basically the same concept. Yeah. I mean, that's what, just as far as having the, what do you call it, the board?
The vision board?
Vision board. I mean, it's basically just another way to say that, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just like you want to bring that into your reality, so you imagine that it's here.
Yeah, but how many times are people perceiving the world or a job or something in a way that is creating more of the bad stuff that they don't want, and they're not even aware of these thoughts, this perception, the way you literally see it and think about it is a self-fulfilling prophecy and bringing more of that to you. Yeah. Right. So people who are like, I don't believe you, Rhianna. It's like, well, you'll never get any evidence that proves I'm right because you don't believe. You're not even open to it.
Give it a try.
Yeah.
Just give it a try.
Yeah.
Just for shits and giggles. Just give it a try. Right. Nobody knows. You can just sit there and do it in your own mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and for those
you might be surprised.
Totally. And for those of you that are just like, yes, you feel me and you're ready to release this stuff in this energy right now that's supporting you to release everything, you can just write a list. And if you don't want to start it on fire, just write a list of all the things, the ways, the definitions, the habits that are no longer serving you. And then you can say, cancel, clear, release all of this, and just rip it up and throw it away, or wash it and put it in the toilet and flush it, whatever that looks like for you, but just indicate that you are done with it. And the universe will begin to support pulling that out, but be aware that they might show you other awarenesses that need to go with that, right? So if you have a bad habit, they're going to show you maybe the root cause of that, and you might have to heal that root cause, whatever. So just be open, but slow down and rest as much as you can. Try to take off the busy badge.
I think
it's not serving us.
I think that's a great idea.
You got to send me the link to that Baron Trump book. I'll put that in the description because that's fascinating to me. That's crazy.
It is. So time travel is real, right?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
And I so I have all these really crazy stories that I just don't think like. So we are doing our podcast.
Yes.
Like we're going to do it.
Yes.
I was inspired
we've been
with the
talking.
entry, and it's going to be a whole bunch of just real life stories that I've experienced that I think probably most of your audience would be like, okay, Rhianna needs a padded room with a white jacket.
Got to protect her. Got to protect her.
But there's so much going on right now, and it's not all bad. The bad is being exposed for what it is, and some really glorious, amazing things are happening, and we just have to try to focus on that. So
we'll leave on that note because I like that.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
How do people find you again?
RhiannaMays.com.
Okay, you're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's Pat and JT, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.